Hey yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy Just Critic back with another video on the gaming channel. You feel me? Now today, man, I'm finna be breaking down some of the basics of Valorant. So yeah, I'm just gonna walk you guys through like some of the basics on how to get better in Valorant. So as you guys see right now, I am currently Diamond 2 in the act. This is episode 5, act 1. And last episode, I actually just started playing this game. Like if I go back to episode 4, act 2, I didn't play Valorant at all. Like I literally just started playing this game probably about a month and a half ago. And within the first month, I ended up getting up to gold 3, but I was pretty much hard stuck at like silver 2 for the entire time I started playing this game. And then this act, I've literally gone all the way up to diamond just by doing some of the things that I'm going to be showing you guys today. But yeah, so now that you see the proof is in the pudding, I'm not like a complete garbage player. I'm a little bit up there, you know what I'm saying? I got a little bit to go, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get to the ascendant or immortal. I want to get one of them little buddies. I think that'd be dope. But let's go ahead and get into like some of the things you guys can do to actually get better. So first things first, we're gonna go to the range and just I'm gonna cover a couple things in the range before we go to a couple other. All right, so now that we are in the range, man, first things first, if you haven't sat down and checked out every single different character on this game, I highly recommend you to do this because it's going to be very important when you're playing this game, considering it's a team game, to understand how every agent works. Because if you're trying to climb up in the ranks and play competitive, sometimes you're going to need to fill. You're not always going to be able to be a Reyna main or a chamber main, which, you know what I'm saying, those are two of some of the most OP characters in this game. You're not always going to be able to use those characters. So I would highly recommend just first off starting and learning what every single character does in the game. I'm not going to cover that in this video. It's pretty self-explanatory. Just try the character out, see what their abilities are, and then once you know what I'm saying, then you kind of have a general idea of how this stuff works. Go ahead and get into the range, man. And first things first, you want to just go ahead and buy yourself a sheriff. Now the reason why you want a sheriff is because the first thing we're going to be covering is your aim. Aiming on this game is so important. I cannot stress this enough. If your aim is good, you're already going to put yourself in a better position to win more gunfights, win more games, all that type of stuff. So yeah, that's like, I mean, it's genuinely one of the most important things on Valorant is aim. Obviously IQ comes into play. Like you have to have some type of game sense, but if your aim is dog shit and your game sense is good, you're still gonna lose the game because you can't hit shots. So first off, what I would recommend is finding a point on any wall in the shooting range. It can be this wall, it could be over here. It does not matter, but what you want to do is you just want to shoot somewhere, right? So when you shoot, you want to trace it. You want to trace the bullet that's in the wall. You just want to see if you can trace this bullet that's there and try and keep your crosshair exactly on that bullet. I haven't warmed up myself today, so I'm kind of warming up with you guys while filming this video right now. But yeah, shoot at the wall. Try and just keep your crosshair on that actual dot right there and just make sure that your aim is steady. Now let's say you shoot it at the wall, right? And for some reason your crosshair is like this and you're trying to like keep it on it, but it's not actually going on that. You need to adjust your sensitivity because realistically speaking, you should be able to keep your crosshair on this dot at all points in time. Now, obviously, there's going to be times where it's not exactly on it, but as long as it's in the general area of that shot, your aim is going to be more consistent because you know for a fact that you can trace whatever area it is you're trying to chase. So I would spend some time just shoot at the wall, make sure you can cover that dot and just keep your crosshair, you know, somewhat on it. If it's not on it, adjust your sensitivity as much as you need to. And for those of you who are wondering what my sensitivity is, I currently use a 0.324, which in my opinion, I've tried both sides of the spectrum. I've tried really high sensitivity on this game and I've tried really low sensitivity on this game. Personally, I feel like lower sensitivity on this game is a lot better than high sensitivity. Don't get me wrong, you can be really good with high sensitivity. I just find it easier to be more consistent with your shots and with your aiming with a lower sensitivity because you're able to line up some of your shots a little bit better. Message your sensitivity, try and make sure it's good. Once you get that done, I would definitely recommend using some of the things they have in here. Obviously, they have the little range with the you know, the practice bot, and they got these things over here that you can shoot at and just practice your aim. So after you get that down, I would just hit the practice right here and you just want to practice kind of flicking. I would not recommend going straight and using the vandal because of the spray that's on it. You really want to be focusing on hitting your headshot because obviously one taps are going to allow you to get more kills and just save you a lot of time in like 1v1s and stuff like that, right? So yeah, just practice your aim, flicking to different bots. You can keep them stationary. And don't be afraid to miss. You just want to try and hit your shots, man. Obviously, you're not going to hit every single shot, but as long as you're practicing your aim and, you know, just trying to lock on to different heads. Like, for example, sometimes I'll keep my crosshair in between some of the bots and just try and flip over to it really quick. But yeah, you get the gist of it. Just practice your shots with the sheriff because it's literally a one-tap weapon. I mean, the Vandal is as well, the Guardian is as well. But you want to be consistent with your one taps because it's so helpful for 1v1 situations. If you can try and get your crosshair to land on someone's head all the time, it's gonna help you in the long run. Especially when you start to climb up the ranks. A lot of these players that be in Diamond and Plat, their aim is just ridiculous to the point where it's like if you make any mistake, you peek out an angle too far, you're instantly just dead because they one tapped you. It's very frustrating, so the best thing you can do is practice your aim to make sure that you give yourself the best opportunity to try and at least fight back against some of these players, because a lot of them don't touch grass, I'm gonna be honest. But yeah, so once you do that, next thing I would recommend is just opening the shooting range menu and putting strafe on your bots. And you want to just try and trace their heads here and just kind of follow their heads in the pattern of where they go. This is going to help you to kind of track on where they go when they're strafing, because this is probably the most realistic game sense you're gonna find in the practice range is the bots moving. So as long as you can try and keep your crosshair generally within the same area of where these bots are going when they're strafing, you know what I'm saying, this is going to give you a slighter edge than other people who don't do this, because you're spending more time trying to, you know, trace where heads are going to go. So that way, if a bot is strafing or a person is strafing in a game, you're going to be able to hold to their head really quick, you know, like boom, he strafes, boom, he strafes, boom, he strafes, boom. Practice this at literally every range. You could even do some of the bots that are all the way in the back. Just practice it. Try and make sure you're hitting the head. Like this guy right here, he's all the way back there. Bing. This guy, bang. Oh, missed my shot. That dude was moving all extra crazy. Yeah, just practice with the strafe on. Try and make sure you're tracing their heads. And you don't necessarily have to be moving around this entire process. Just make sure you are trying to keep your crosshair, you know, at head level. That's a big problem that I see a lot of new players is a lot of players, when they're new to the game, they keep their crosshair on the ground. This is what we call mopping the floor, bro. When you have your crosshair just pointing at the ground, the time it takes for you to go like this when you see an enemy, you're already dead, because they had their crosshair here on your head while you're going from here to here, from point A to point B. You're already at a loss. So just try to make sure you understand where the level of head is. Once you understand where head level is, all you need to do is position yourself to get the kills. Like for example, if I come all the way over here, okay, I know the head level is going to be around this area, so if I peek out, it's already there. You know what I'm saying? Like boom, peek, boom, peek, boom. All right, so the next thing I will practice, you can go ahead and put the sheriff up. Next thing that you really want to get down pat is the spray pattern in this game. Now, a lot of people that are new to Valorant just think that the guns go directly up. They don't. So for example, if you just sit in the practice range and you hold it down, you're gonna see that the pattern goes up, left, right, left. Just like it basically makes like a tomahawk. I don't know if you got, or you could think of it like a Minecraft axe. It looks just like it. So the pattern goes up, left, right, left, and it kind of follows that every single time. So what you can do is just do the opposite and pull down and then go right, left, right. Basically, in a nutshell, you don't have to know the exact left, right, left type stuff, but the idea is you pull your gun down and then you just go left to right to keep your spray centered. So for example, you just want to practice doing that. Down, left, right. And as you can see, I mean, most of the spray is pretty central here. I had a bullet that kind of strayed off to the left there, but once you get your spray control pattern figured out, it's going to be a lot easier to, you know, spray enemies up close. Obviously, you don't want to be spraying people in general, just because more oftentimes than not, if you rely on spraying to get kills in Valorant, you're probably going to be stuck in silver or gold or something like that. Once you start to get up to some of the higher ranks in this game, it's much better to just double tap fire at someone's head. Two. Because look at the difference. Just tap firing like that, you're more likely to hit your shots than if I was sitting here trying to do this. It's just that, I mean, the spray goes everywhere. So once you start to get to the higher ranks, man, you're just gonna see a lot more people from farther ranges just kind of two, and they might counter strafe. They might 1-2, kind of dodge over and all that type of stuff. So just practicing some of these mechanics is going to help you a lot. As you can see, the spray is very central when you are tap firing, so doing this is going to help you tremendously in this game. Yeah, so now that you kind of got some of those basics down, kind of the spray control, keeping your crosshair at head level, making sure you can trace a bullet on a wall. The next thing I would recommend is just trying to shoot some of these bots out here. These are going to be 2-tap with the Vandal, so it's 1, 2, 2. You just kind of want to flick between them. Just make sure your aim is actually on target with these. And like before, if your aim is kind of all over the place, obviously you're gonna have to spend some time practicing your aim and making sure you have it, you know, down pat. But yeah, that's kind of it for the practice range. Make sure you get all the agents down. You understand the basics of agents. Make sure your crosshair placement is about at head level, spray control, being able to have a good sensitivity that, you know, trace certain things and it's not just going to be kind of all over the place. And just spending some time practicing on some of these bots. You can even come over to the thing that's like right here and, you know, just practice your spray control. Try to make sure all your shots are aligned in the middle. Obviously, if you double tap, your shots are going to be very aligned here. But yeah, that's kind of it in the practice range. Obviously, the only other thing that you can do here is you can do one of the tests. You can do it on easy, medium, or hard, and start one of the practice tests. But yeah, those are some of the things you can do in the practice range. Let's go ahead and leave that. All right, another thing I will recommend is going into Deathmatch on Valorant and just loading up maybe a couple games before you start hopping into comp. Now, the reason for this is because when you go into Deathmatch, it's gonna allow you to warm up. It's gonna allow you to try and get your crosshair placement on people's heads with actual people rather than bots. You can spend all day shooting against bots, but it's never really gonna give you as much game sense as playing against actual players. But yeah, just hop in a Deathmatch, man, and try and get some kills. It's definitely gonna help.
No more medley.
Obviously, my aim is kind of all over the place. I haven't warmed up at all, so it's just kind of everywhere.
To dust.
But yeah, you just want to kind of try placing your cursor in areas where you know enemies are going to be at. I got somebody on my left here. Somebody is. And try to get head taps, man. It's definitely important. You can even work on counter strafing. So for example, if I see an enemy, instead of just staying in a still spot and shooting at them and trying to spray, I'll shoot a couple times and then move over. Because normally when you're doing that, the enemy is gonna have to try and place their aim. They're gonna try and have to place their aim on you while moving, which is very hard to hit a moving target rather than a stationary one. That's kind of like one of the higher type things you'll see a lot of players that are higher ranks that kind of counter strafe. Like this guy right here, he counter strafe, which made it harder for me to keep my crosshair placement on. And try to make yourself unpredictable, man. Like sometimes, you know what I'm saying, you can crouch a little bit, do some things that'll just throw your enemy's aim off. Obviously, if you stand still like I just did, you're gonna get killed. It really just boils down to trying to get your crosshair placement good and just be unpredictable, man, because the more predictable you are in this game, obviously the less kills you're gonna get. Short in the back of the head.
Give in.
That is a good example of what you don't do. Do not just spray blindly like that. But yeah, man, I mean, these are kind of some of the basics of Valorant and what's going to help you get a lot better. I'm definitely going to be doing an updated tutorial, some of the more advanced methods that are going to help you a lot. Like, for example, I know a lot of things on Aim Labs, which is kind of like an aim trainer that'll help you like increase your accuracy tremendously. So if you guys want to see a part 2 to this video, just make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. And I'm definitely going to be making more content on Valorant as I've gotten into the game recently and I really enjoy it. I used to be kind of on Fortnite heavy, but just as of recently, I genuinely like playing Valorant. It's pretty fun. But yeah, if you guys want some tips, you guys can feel free to go down to the link in the description below and pull up to my Twitch if I'm streaming at the time and just ask me any questions. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. Hopefully you learned some stuff, and if you have any questions, put them down in the comment section below. I will catch you guys in my next video very soon. It's been your boy Just Critic here. Peace out, gang.